The Big WECK presents Buffalo on the Rise, sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process. Welcome to the television show devoted to local business, Buffalo on the Rise, with your host, Joe Chili. There's an entrepreneurial spirit in Western New York that's putting our area on the cusp of greatness. Each week, Buffalo on the Rise features local business leaders and decision makers who are shaping our future. If it's about local business, we'll talk about it right here, right now, during Buffalo on the Rise.
I'm Joe Chili. On this edition of the Big Wax Buffalo on the Rise, I'll introduce you to some interesting people from hometown businesses with interesting stories to tell, including how some of your favorite beers are brewed and served with some great food and fun at Brickyard Brewing in Lewiston. The Amigone family are celebrating 100 years of serving Western New York families in their time of need. And if you want to put an end to your chronic pain, give Dr. John Zilliox a call to find out how. All on this edition of the Big Wax Buffalo on the Rise. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Joe Chili. Join me weekday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. on Buffalo's oldie station, the Big WECK. Today with us on Buffalo on the Rise, we have Steve Matthews, who's the GM of Brickyard Brewing Company in Lewiston. Steve, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Nice to have you here. My hometown, Lewiston, so it's nice. I'm very familiar. Been to your locations many times, as a matter of fact. The Brickyard Brewing Company. What gave you the idea for that? Why did you start for that? Was it something that you realized that people had a penchant for beers that were being brewed in the area?
Yeah, it was actually an idea that we had that we could lower some of the cost to our existing business, and craft beer really just seemed to really be escalating at that time period, so it was a matter of, striking while it's hot.
What does it take? Is it labor intensive to make your own beer?
It is. It's very much a science. Our brewers do a fantastic job. They've made some really quality product.
You have an award-winning beer. Tell us what that is.
We do. We actually just won a silver medal in the New York State Brewers Association competition for Magnetic North, which is our Belgian farmhouse ale.
And what's the difference between some of the different beers that you have? Now, mention some of them. The Belgian farmhouse. What else do you have specifically?
We actually specialize in everything from lagers, IPAs, amber ales, pale ales. There's really no style we don't touch on.
Is there one that you think is the most popular? I know it's kind of like telling me who your favorite kid is, right?
Yeah, actually, the most popular beer that we have is our White Bronco, which is pretty much our flagship IPA.
When people come in, I mean, when you hear, brewing, the Brickyard Brewing Company, people may say, oh, I don't know, I've got the kids with me. Am I going to have to get somebody to take care of the kids so I can go? This is a family-friendly place too, right?
Correct. Yeah, we've just implemented our arcade room. We started doing buy one meals for adults buy an entree and they get 12 and under meals for free on Friday nights.
And some of these specials, I've got to look at some of these. The Smash Burger.
Yeah.
It looks like buy one, get one free?
Yeah, on Saturday nights.
Pizza Thursday.
Yeah, buy one, get one pizzas on Thursdays. That's kind of our thing, is to always have some kind of a rolling special going for our customers.
All right, well, the last time I went, I thought I was being special because I got one for free, but, I guess, I'm sorry. I think that tell me what's your favorite. When you start talking about beers, or even if you start talking about some of the food, what's your favorite?
I'm a little partial to the honey garlic chicken pizza, personally. That's always fantastic. We offer plenty of salads, appetizers. I'm a huge fan of the steak salad. I think that's one of our top items.
And what do you think is the thing that draws people to you there? I mean, I would wonder, if I was opening up another business side by side with an existing business, is one going to cannibalize the other? You know, is it going to draw from the other? But that's not the case, right?
Actually, it's not. You know, we have the barbecue restaurant next door. The goal with the Brickyard Brewing Company was to create something completely different from what we offer at Brickyard. The brewing company is more of a event center, of course a tap room, but we also offer the arcade room for the children, and you know.
And it's huge. I mean, is it like, how many stories?
It's 2 stories.
2 stories?
Correct.
So can you hold different events at different stories at different times? I mean, at the same time or whatever? And what kind of events? Have people done weddings there? Have they?
Yeah, we've done weddings, showers, retirement parties, pretty much everything that you can think of. We can host up to about 200 people, which makes it a great wedding venue.
And are you open every day? Are there special days that people, you know, should visit?
We are open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 5 p.m. till close.
Okay, what about your website?
Website? www.brickyardbrewingcompany.com.
Can people get a feel for what the BBC is by going to your website?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's
all of our menus are there.
A fantastic place. I mean, I just have to tell you, I mean, being a Lewiston resident, which I am, you know, it's great to see. And this gives me the incentive to see it even more because I'm not a beer connoisseur.
Sure.
But I'll sample different things. Is there times that you have sampling, you know, there?
Yeah, we do, actually. We do Thursday nights, we offer a cask night, which is something a lot of breweries in the area aren't doing. We also always offer flights, so you can get a 4-beer flight of just about any of our 20 styles on tap at any given time.
Wow, if I tried all 20 styles, I'd be flying on my own. Well, Steve, that's very great. Steve Matthews, the GM, BBC Brickyard Brewing Company in Lewiston. The Brickyard Brewing Company is at 436 Center Street in Lewiston. You can give them a call, 716-754-7227. And you can take a look at the menu, hours of operation, and more at the brickyardbrewingcompany.com. Brickyardbrewingcompany.com, that's the website. Sponsorship and promotional considerations for the preceding segment provided by the Brickyard Brewing Company. And don't forget to join all your favorite personalities, myself, JP, Roger Christian, and Bobby O with classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK. Hi, I'm Joe Schilling, weekday morning 7 to 9 a.m. on Buffalo's oldie station, the Big WECK. On Buffalo on the Rise today, we have Anthony Amigone Jr., the president of Amigone Funeral Home. Welcome.
Hey, it's great to be here, Joe.
100 years. You know, you don't look a day over 40. But,
well, I've aged well.
You know, 100 years, seriously. 1926, was it?
1926. We're as old as American Airlines, United Airlines, Shays Theater.
How many different, you know, generations has that been?
We're in our 4th generation. My grandfather started it, 24 years old, in the front of a house. He was a people person, and he started his funeral business, and a lot of it was bartering. He would trade for different services and that. And then my father got involved just after he was in the war, before that, and then he really built up our locations in that. He was a mastermind and a visionary. And then my brother and I have been working in the business 40 plus years each. And we've taken on the tradition of family service and high touch experiences for families we serve.
Is that a difficult thing to do? I mean, from a family business, is it just assumed that you're going to take on the mantle when somebody retires? Do they have to talk you into it? Is it just something you said, it's been a family business, I'm going to do it?
Well, I think I can explain our situation. My brother knew very young that he wanted to be in the family business. I went out for a little bit and did something different. But at a certain point you say, hey, I know the business, you know, I cleaned up parking lots and mowed lawns and everything else, so I decided to get in it with my brother, and I've had a great career ever since. But it's families around the country. Sometimes the next generation just doesn't want to be involved, and we've grown our business through acquiring other funeral homes that didn't have successors.
Let me ask you this, because I'm sure the audience is wondering. Amigone Funeral Home, Amigone. We've seen it nationally. It's been on Jay Leno. It's been Ellen DeGeneres. Not necessarily, I mean, they're kind of, doing it in jest. But, hey, say anything you want to say about me, just spell my name right?
Exactly, and it's, I've always viewed it as a compliment and recognition of who we are. But to explain where our name comes from, it means big friend in Italian. So that can be part of our mantra. We're a big friend to families we serve. But there's no doubt, my friends will introduce me and then say, his last name's Amigone. They're in the funeral business. Amigone, you get it? So you don't have to tell them twice. They get it the first time.
Well, in Western New York, you don't have to tell anybody twice.
Right, they all make fun of us.
Well, but they all know who you are.
And we see people out in front taking pictures next to our sign a lot.
Well, I don't know about that, but what about talking to people, talking to family members? This is the thing that's difficult. I made some plans. I'm getting older in years. I want to talk to my kids about it. We don't want you to talk about dying. Don't talk about dying. Don't talk about anything like that. What about pre-planning? Is it difficult to get people to sit down and talk about that?
Not really. People, originally when pre-planning started, it was people coming to us and say, hey, I want to plan in advance. And since we've been doing it for many, many years now, we've developed a great way of doing it. You're basically just getting your affairs in order, no different than a will and testament. And it depends on individuals. Some people don't feel the need to do that, but a lot of people feel the need to do that. They just want to organize it. The biggest thing we hear is, I want to do this so my family doesn't have to worry about it. Yeah. And then the family will consider it a gift when the time comes. They say, God, that was so nice that Mom or Dad took care of this in advance.
The other thing is you start to get older and you start thinking about going into maybe nursing home, assisted living, whatever, and you get into that 5-year look back, where they're going to look to see where all the funds have gone. Pre-planning is a good way to take care of some of those funds, right?
Well, many people may find out too late that you're allowed to prepay your funeral expenses prior to being on Medicaid. So to your point, 5-year look back, and it's an eligible asset for you to have.
How many Amigone locations are there?
We have 13 throughout Western New York.
13?
A lot of cutting grass and maintaining parking lots and painting.
Yeah. Well, you did that when you were younger, so you can know how to tell somebody to do that, right?
It's parochial. We're in different areas because I think Western New York is that way. They don't necessarily like to travel. A lot of people will come up to me and I can tell demographically where they live because they say, yeah, I know you have 4 locations. Oh. They'll never realize that we have that many. And to us, it's like different rooms of our business. So we travel between all the locations. It's fairly easy to get around in Western New York, so it's not that hard for us to do that. Our entire staff is mobile to go to different locations.
When people choose a funeral parlor, do they oftentimes or sometimes say, well, my father was there, my grandfather was there, different family members, and that's where I want to go?
60% of our business is traditional family selection, where they've used us before. And out of the other 40%, there's usually an indirect connection to where they've used our services before. So it's a legacy service to families.
How do people get started? How do you recommend, if somebody is trying to figure out what to do, what's the first step? It's kind of uncomfortable. Did they go to your website?
The website's a great educational tool. They can go there and see the different types of services that we offer. They can explore it. They can ask questions. And we do offer anybody that wants to come in for a free consultation, they can sit with myself or my brother or one of our funeral directors and go over what the different options are. Many people kind of realize what they want to do, so it's just confirming it and maybe exploring some different choices. For example, with cremation services, which we've embraced and help people with cremation, you can have committal services that are held maybe the next summer because they'll organize an event for everybody to come in and be part of that. So
kind of like a celebration of life type deal, right?
Sure. Right. Some people, even if the death occurs in the middle of the winter, they say, you know what, we'll wait till spring and have services then.
Anthony Amigone from Amigone Funeral Home, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it today. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Amigone at 716-836-6500 to set up a pre-planning consultation and to find out more information at amigone.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Amigone. And don't forget to join all of your favorite personalities, myself, JP, Roger Christian, Bobby O, with classic oldies from the 60s and 70s on the Big WECK. I'm Joe Chili, weekday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. on Buffalo's oldie station, the Big WECK. Today, joining us on Buffalo on the Rise is Dr. John Zilliox from Positive Health and Wellness Chiropractic. How are you doing today?
Good, Joe. Yourself?
Good. I'm doing very well, considering the fact that this is the kind of weather that kind of breaks people.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
You know, I hate to say it. It's kind of like, you know, I don't know whether we're ever going to dig out of winter. But tell us about, you know, one of the things that, you know, you get concerned about is back injuries, or the spine just about takes care of all the things in your body, I understand, right? It, you know, it generates from the spine. So I hear about spinal decompression. And this is something that's, I don't know if it's relatively new, just a few years. Spinal decompression, describe it to people. This is a non-surgical thing, right?
Correct, yes.
And describe how it works.
Well, non-surgical spinal decompression has been around a while. I've been doing it since 2007. It's non-invasive, it's very comfortable, and what it does, it's not traction. But people kind of refer to it as being traction when they're on the table, but it's not. It's all computerized, where we can target the area of a disc that's swollen, protruded or ruptured, people with stenosis and things like this. So basically what it does, it distracts the vertebrae without causing muscle contraction and sucks the disc away from the nerve. Whereas if people with a herniated disc be going for surgery and getting it cut or microdiscectomy, things like this, we're doing it non-surgically. And it's almost like if you took your boot and you stepped in mud and you went, pull that out, that's exactly what it's doing to the disc. It's retracting the disc.
You know, I had traction before, and this was, I'm sure, before spinal decompression. And I had herniated discs that I had done moving heavy furniture. Mm-hmm. And I was in a lot of pain, and they put me in traction, and the pain immediately went away. I mean, it was like I could fall asleep. Now, can people actually fall asleep during spinal decompression?
They do. It's very relaxing. Now, the difference between traction and spinal decompression is that traction is a vertebral distraction with muscle contraction.
Okay.
Spinal decompression does not contract the muscles.
And how effective is it?
Research shows 87 to 92% compared to traction 50 to 55%.
Really? So this is is it a machine?
Yes, it's a table that actually the patient is belted, has a harness, table goes back down, and it's all computerized so we can target the exact area of your problem.
Wow. All right, so what other kind of therapies do you offer besides this?
Well, we offer electroanalgesic therapy, which is therapy that helps with pain, decreases pain. We also have laser, cold laser, and class 4 laser, which produces heat, has a deeper penetration. We also utilize calmer therapy, which is actually a nerve scrambler. And that's used for people who have, for example, chronic regional pain syndrome. They can't take medication, or medication is not touching their pain. And what it does, it tricks the brain into, from a pain signal into a no pain signal. It's very effective. It's not curative, but believe me, it gets people back on track so they can enjoy their quality of life.
When you talk about laser, this, hot and cold laser, this is nothing that when you think of lasers, you think of burning or things like this.
Right.
This is something, is this a soothing type thing?
The difference between the cold laser and the class 4 is the class 4 produces heat. Now you could burn somebody with class 4 laser if it's not moved around. Okay. But it has a deep penetration, and its whole thing is it's anti-inflammatory. The same with the cold laser. Cold laser doesn't produce cold either, but it's anti-inflammatory. Use sports injuries and arthritis and a number of other things.
What about one of the things I hear and talk to people all the time that they complain about, because they have cell phones, they're using their thumbs to type on their cell phones, and they feel it up their arms. And oddly enough, they'll complain most about it at night. I don't know why. Maybe because during the day they're doing other things, at night they're laying down not thinking about it. Can you use something to help somebody with that?
Yeah, those are nerves that are coming out of the neck too. So coming out of the neck and going through the wrist. There's something called text neck that they have from texting with their head down
with
like
their
this.
head down like that, yeah.
Yes, and that's exactly what's happening. So they're compressing the spine with their head down, and consequently, people with that kind of problem, distraction, spinal distraction helps with that. Chiropractic adjustments help.
All right. What about, you talked about neuropathy and some things like this. People, maybe type 2 diabetics, have some problems with some numbness, tingling in their feet, things of this nature. And I hear regularly people will say, God, I hope it's not going to come to the fact that I'm going to have to lose a toe or something of this nature, What can you do to help that neuropathy?
We use very specific high-frequency therapy to help regenerate nerves. We use red light therapy to help with that. We use nutrition. So all these combined, where the drugs that are out there like Neurontin, gabapentin, things like this, these are all drugs that just numb the situation.
You've written a number of books. Maybe we should talk about a couple of them. You might want to show some of them here.
The book I wrote here is No More Knee Pain, and it revolves around therapies that I utilize for people who are suffering from severe osteoarthritis of the knee and possibly looking at a knee replacement. The other book I've written is on spinal decompression, the non-surgical approach to back pain, which explains how non-surgical spinal decompression works. The other one I wrote was Getting Your Life Back from Neuropathy, and explains again all the therapies that I utilize and that are available for treating neuropathy. And last but not least, being a clinical nutritionist, I wrote a book on the power of nutrition, which is really, really important, in which I utilize with patients with all these conditions.
Dr. John Zilliox from Positive Health and Wellness Chiropractic, thank you very much for joining us. And for more information and answers to your questions, contact Positive Health and Wellness by calling 716-689-3629 or go to meetdrz.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Positive Health and Wellness. Don't forget to join all your favorite personalities, JP, Roger Christian, and me on Buffalo's oldie station, The Big WECK.
Thanks for watching this edition of The Big WECK presents Buffalo on the Rise. For information on this and other shows, go to our website, bigweck.com, and find out how you can participate on the program if you're a hometown business. I'm Joe Chili. Thanks for watching and listening to The Big WECK, Buffalo's oldie station.
The Big WECK presents Buffalo on the Rise was sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process.